G'day hikers, and welcome to the Hike the Highlands Festival YouTube channel. My name is Tom Wilson, and I will be your host today. Today's topic is hiking in the Lake District in the United Kingdom. Our special guest today is Craig Smith. Craig is a retired accountant, a world traveler, and we know him as the International Man of Leisure. He has hiked in 8+ countries all over the world, but keeps coming back to the Lake District to start off his hiking season each year. Welcome, Craig.
Thanks, Tom. Welcome, everyone, and welcome to Lake District National Park. For those who haven't been there or don't know where it is, it's in the northwest portion of England, right up by the Scottish border. It's probably my favorite hiking spot in the world. I've been to a few spots, but this is probably my favorite. I've been there probably 20 times over my lifetime. Some years I've gone actually twice a year, usually in the spring and fall. It's a great place to hike, primarily because there's all levels of hiking, basically from walking around the lake to mountain climbing. So anywhere from grade 1 to 5. It's easy to get to. You fly into Manchester and take a train or a bus. You can get there easily by public transportation. There's lots of B&Bs. There's great hiking gear available. There's good restaurants. There's boat rides. There's like I say, excellent hiking gear and all levels of hikes. And so I'll just go through some of the slides here and show you this is where Lake District National Park is. It's actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site as well. This is where it's in Cumbria, the county of Cumbria. Lake District, let's say you can fly into London or Manchester. I sometimes fly into either or sometimes I fly into London, spend a few days there, and then take the train up, and it's easily accessible by public transportation. It's 920 square miles. 40 miles north to south, east to west is 32 miles. And there's 16 bodies of water, but there's actually only one lake, even though it's called the Lake District. Might be called a water or a mere or a turn, but there's only one basin. Basin's water is one, but they're all different names, but there's actually only one actual lake. And the reason why the lakes are there is basically because they get about 200 inches of rain a year. So you want to make sure you have the right gear when you go. So, say, one place they have over 200 inches a year. This is one of the spots where they have you can see I have the right hiking gear on there. I've got the Gore-Tex gloves. I've got the Paramo gear. I've got the boots. I started going there in the mid 1980s. When I first went there, I didn't have the right gear. I learned the hard way that you invest in good gear, rain gear. So, like I say, it's a formed national park in 1951. It's the most visited park in the UK, 16 million visitors a year. Now, the southern part of the Lake District is very touristy. Windermere, Grasmere, several little towns. They basically have ice cream shops and, thousands of tourists. Where I go mostly is Buttermere, which is in the northwest portion of the lakes. And if you go hiking there in the spring or the fall, during the week, you could hike all day and not see another person. It's amazing. Next. It's also owned by 25% is owned by the National Trust, charity to preserve and protect places. And actually, before, it wasn't really a tourist spot until basically the early 1800s. Before that, people thought it was a dangerous place because it's so rugged. Wordsworth wrote some poems, and then he basically opened up the tourist industry there, and now it's a major tourist attraction in England. This is Ambleside. This is a beautiful little town in the southern part. You can see this is the main street, all the bed and breakfasts. And if you want hiking gear, it's probably one of the best places in the world to find hiking gear because it rains so much and they get so many tourists there. like I say, became popular in the late 17, well, actually the 1700s. And this is Wordsworth Gravestone, actually, in Grasmere. So the town that I base it out of it actually is Keswick, in the Western Lakes, and you can get your supplies there. There's all kinds of pubs and grocery stores and everything. So this is George Fisher. This is one of the outdoor shops. If they don't have it, you don't need it, basically. This is a Paramo shop. Paramo is a breathable clothing that I'm very excited about. It's kind of like Gore-Tex, but it doesn't wear out. Gore-Tex actually gets gummed up and wears out. Paramo doesn't. The stuff's not cheap, but when you're on top of a mountain and it's rain and hail and windy and raining, and you'll be glad you have the right gear.
That's true.
This is Keswick. This is the main town. It's actually a market town. Twice a week they have a market. You can see cloudy, overcast, which is quite typical. This is a park just on the outskirts of town, along the lake. The terrain, as you can see, it's quite rugged, and the hikes basically say you can go from level 1 to level 5. You can go mountain climbing. I remember being in a little village called Wasdale, and we're on a hike, and I went into the pub for lunch, and then we came out, and I was looking at the church next door, and there were all these grave sites, and I was looking at the gravestones, and there were all these people, the grave sites, men in their 20s and 30s, and I'm, wow, that's unusual. And what it was, they were mountain climbers that actually fell off a mountain. Now, this would have been probably in the early 1900s, but it is, it can be quite dangerous. If you want to do the extreme, you can do the extreme. If you want to walk around the lake, walk around the lake. Excellent hiking for whatever level you are. Although if you're doing any hikes at all in the mountains, even the lower level hikes, you should have really proper heavy duty footwear. That's my one recommendation. You can see here it's quite rugged. Coming down the mountain here. Poles are, when I first started, I didn't have any poles. Now I use 2 poles. Certainly use very helpful coming down, I find, on the knees. Certainly takes a lot of pressure off the knees. This is Buttermere. This is a little village. There's about probably 20 people there, a church, a couple of pubs. Like I say, you can walk around the lake, or you can actually go to go up to the top of the mountain. The hills are about, they call them mountains. The highest one is about 3,200 feet. So it's, you might plan a hike in the morning, and you get up, plan the hike the day before. You get up in the morning, you go, wow, I can't do a high level hike. It's too windy, it's too rainy. So you have the option to do basically a lower level hike, but you really don't know until you wake up in the morning what level of hike you can do.
Okay.
This is a view from top of Haystacks. That's Buttermere, and then in the basically Crummock Water in the background. So you can a good hike actually. It's about 5 miles around Buttermere Lake, and Crummock Water. You can walk around actually lower level, or you can do the hikes, the peaks all around. If you did the peaks all around, it would take you. It's about 12 miles. It's an all-day hike. Pretty tough, but certainly rewarding. It's also Lake District takes in part of the coast to coast walk. I've never done it, but I'd like to do it someday. It basically goes from one from the Irish Sea to the sorry, Tom. Anyway, you can edit that. This is the hike with the Ranadale Knots to Melbrook. It's 14.3 miles. This actually does 5 different peaks, most of them around 2,800 to 3,000 feet. This is actually, this is Crummock Water, actually. Another view of Crummock Water. Lunchtime. It's been a sunny day that day. Haystacks. You can, You can do haystacks from the village of Buttermere, and there's actually accommodations in Buttermere as well.
Okay.
It's another view of Buttermere. You can see where we stay just in the background. There's a little white house.
Yep.
Well, it's not small, but it's called Haas-Ness House.
That's your sister, isn't it?
That is my sister.
Yep.
Yep. It's my favorite sister. Another view, like I say, you can see the level here. You can, along all these peaks, you can go along all these peaks only on a sunny day or when it's not too windy. If it is too windy, it's just too dangerous to be up there. Yeah. Another view. There's Buttermere from the other side of the lake, actually. Haas-Ness House from the other side of the lake.
Okay.
It takes about the walk around Buttermere. It takes about an hour and a half. It's about 5 miles around the lake if you want to do the sort of lakeshore walk.
Ooh, that's a nice shot.
Yeah, they do get. I've been there several times. You do get snow sometimes if you're there in April, early April. You can get snow up in the mountains. It's unusual to get it in April, but certainly in the early part of the year, there is snow. So picture of Buttermere. There's a calm day.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, this is the Fish. That's one of the local pubs.
Okay.
Some of the hikes are, you have to do a little bit of scrambling on some of the tougher hikes. That's another view of a little scrambling. Scrambling is a little unusual that, unless you want to do sort of the mountain climbing, but, sometimes you do have to kind of be a little bit agile. There I am. I made it to the top.
Good for you.
There you go.
There's some
White
snow.
stuff on the mountains.
Yep.
The hilltop. The fog. Now it's really dangerous when the fog comes in. I mean, I wouldn't recommend going there unless you're really competent with the map and compass. I wouldn't recommend walking on the hilltops by yourself. Fog comes in, you can get disoriented. All the paths look the same. It's pretty difficult.
Yeah.
So,
And that picture that you have, that's a survey marker up top. And they usually have those markers up top of every mountain that you climb.
right. Stuff happens. You don't have to worry about it. Well, I shouldn't say you don't have to worry, but if you do get hurt on the hills, there's 13 different mountain rescue teams in the different valleys. There's 3 different valleys. There's 13 different teams. It's all volunteer. They'll come and rescue you day or night, 365 days of the year. If you break your leg, you break your ankle. Most people break their limbs or get injured later in the day. They get tired. They're dragging their feet.
Yeah.
They're not paying attention where they're going. They trip. So the majority of these guys will come out, guys and women, will come out and rescue you. Doesn't matter, what the temperature is, what day of the week it is, Christmas Day, New Year's Day, they'll come and rescue you. Don't have to worry. All volunteer, fantastic organization.
Definitely.
And this is Haas-Ness House. This is just a mile outside Buttermere. This is where I typically stay. It's an excellent place to stay. They provide the accommodations, the guide, the meals, everything. It's all inclusive. And the great thing about Haas-Ness House, you can walk in 4 different directions when you walk out the front door. You walk up Haystacks, you go the other way, you walk up Robinson. You can go to different valleys. You can walk literally. You could spend a week walking there and never drive your car or use public transportation. And if you wanted to go to the next valley, you basically just hop on the public bus that's seasonal, goes from April to October. And they will take you to the next valley, and then you just hop on the bus on the way back, and they'll drop you off right at the front door.
Oh, that's good. Now, does that place have a little pub?
No, the pub is a mile and a quarter down the road, or you can walk along the lake path.
Okay, that's good. You're not far away.
No, not far away. And there are 2 pubs, the Bridge and the Fish. So
Bridge and the Fish.
yep. So both excellent. They have both actually have accommodations as well. And it doesn't matter if your boots are all muddy and you're soaking wet. You're more than welcome to come in and have a pint. They don't,
That's good.
Yeah. So that's basically like I said, I highly recommend the Lake District. It's fantastic scenery. There's lots to offer, and especially in the Western Lakes, very, very sparsely populated and not many tourists.
Yeah, and that seems to be, especially with COVID-19, that seemed to be an issue in a lot of places where they were blocking in the parking lots and stuff. And so now this would be a great place to go where you don't have as many people on the trail and you don't have a parking problem.
No parking problems.
Yeah, so you always start in the morning right from there?
Always start right from there. Well, shouldn't say that. If once in a while we'll take the cars sort of, there's a Honister Pass, sort of a very steep coming out through the valley. Might drive, maybe 2 or 3 miles to another trailhead.
Yep.
Maybe 2 days out of the week. The other 5 days, basically, you walk right out the front door and start walking from there. It can go in four different directions.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like that's a
Yeah.
beautiful spot.
Yeah.
Now, did you do Scaffold Pike?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, and that's another kind of mountain that you will get into a cloud up top, and
Yes.
sometimes you see the view and sometimes you don't. My nephew and I did that in 2011.
Right.
And that's also one of the three peak mountains in UK that you can do.
Yep. The summit, I think, is around 3,250 feet.
Yep. Sounds about right.
It's a pretty tough hike, but it's certainly, the views up top, if it's sunny, it's spectacular. And the British Air Force use the Lake District for a training ground, and sometimes you'll actually be on the mountaintop and you actually can look down on the fighter jets. So it's pretty. You'll be at 3,000 feet. They'll be at 1,500 feet.
Oh, okay.
And you will see them before you hear them, and they blow by, and you'll see them for a few seconds, and they're gone. They'll turn sideways, and then they're down the next valley.
Okay.
It's not something you typically would expect to see in a national park, fighter jets.
No, that's true.
No, but it's
one of the things that I noticed. I have a few friends that did the Three Peaks. It's about a 500-mile driving experience, plus you do the 3 highest mountains in the UK.
Yes.
And you usually do Scaffold Pike as a second hike.
Okay.
And that's always the toughest because that's when it gets dark.
Right.
But I did it during the day, and I actually thought it was the easiest of all 3.
Okay.
I
don't think I'd want to tackle the other 2. Yeah,
Nevis and Snowden. Some of the pictures will scare you, but they're doable. I think anybody that hikes a lot could do all 3 of those.
Right.
Now, in the 3 Peak Challenge that they do over in UK, you have to do them in one day, 24 hours.
Yes.
So that could be a little tricky because each mountain takes roughly 5 hours or less to do.
Right.
So,
yeah. Now, the people that I talked to that have done the 3 peaks in the UK, basically what they do is they have a driver, and they basically have a nap in between when they're driving, and have a little rest in between the hikes. So they basically
that way you have a chance to a little bit of recovery time before you start the next one.
Yeah. And sometimes they have to bandage up their feet as well before they go on to the next hike.
Yep. Yeah. I've learned quite a bit over the years when you do those mountains.
Yeah.
I think we all have.
Yeah. So Anyway, I highly recommend it. The Lake District, like I say, it's accessible. It's all ranges of hikes. There's and actually they have a program there as well. Hike with a ranger. The national park rangers will actually take you on a guided hike as well. And there's actually ramblers organizations that you can join up with and go with. Typically they go on the weekends,
Yep.
and you can join them as well.
Yeah, I think we met a couple of those. Certainly the Rammers, we met them in West Town Way. And they're great organizations, and the people really like it. And of course, one of the things that the Ramblers do is they tend to be a little more relaxed. And so you don't leave sometimes until about 10 o'clock in the morning for your hike.
That's correct.
So
Right.
they give you a little break where some other hikes, you really want to be on the hike at 9 o'clock in the morning because
Right.
it's a long day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, certainly, yeah. Anyway, it's I hope to get back there soon. I'm not sure I'll get there this year with the travel restrictions, but hopefully next year for sure.
Yeah.
And,
Well, Craig, on behalf of Hike the Highlands Festival Society, I'd like to thank you for your presentation today. And let's hope that we can both travel across the big pond in 2022.
yes, let's certainly hope so.
Yes,
In the meantime, we'll see you at Hike the Highlands in September in Cape Breton.
that's right. We'll see you
Okay.
in September.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.